Hello and welcome back to another tutorial we have here on Scratch. And so this one we are going to create a cookie clicker um, project. So I just went ahead and created or clicked on create to create a brand new project. And once that gets up, we're gonna jump right into it. And so we're starting with no sprites, no nothing. So in this case, we can, be creative and create our own sprites. We can use things that are already available within the Scratch library. So really up to you on how you want to do that. So what I'm going to do, I think I'll bring Scratch down here just to get Scratch a little bit out of the way for now, and we'll choose something. I don't know if it has a cookie or anything similar to that in here. Let's go check out the food. Cheesy Poofs, donut, bowl. And the fun thing is, like, can we remix any of these into a cookie? There's a fortune cookie. We could use that one if you want. There's a muffin. You know what? I'm gonna remix something here. So I'm gonna use the muffin, but technically not use the muffin as a muffin. I'm gonna go in here to the costume, and I am going to get rid of that muffin, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get rid of the bottom of that. And oh, we can use this. We'll just make it smaller. Put it on top. Take this one. And make it smaller. Oh, but we need to bring it to the front. That's what I didn't do with the other piece. I've lost my other piece of my muffin. So I'm going to send it backwards. There we go. And then let's do some copying. So we'll just do copy and paste, and then we'll put it over here. There you go. There's my chocolate chip cookie. Perfect. So you can do the same sort of thing if you want to. You can create your own, which I think is sometimes really fun. You can get creative with that. But yeah, so there we are. I'm just going to, yeah, I love where it is. I'm going to call it cookie. Just spell it right. And there we are. So we see that it's just sitting sort of in the middle there, and it's up to you on how you wanna deal with that cookie in terms of the location of it and those sort of things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it off with how many cookies we have. And so the idea behind a cookie clicker is that you click on the cookie and that will add to your amount of cookies that you have in your bin or whatever. And so the cool thing is with Scratch is we can keep track of those amounts of cookies. And that in the coding language is called a variable. And so we're going to go over here to variables. We're just going to click on that, and we have here already a my variable, but we're actually not going to use that one. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to call it cookies. So essentially the amount of cookies that we have here. And you can see this little check mark will now display it right there. And so we wanted that when we click on here, I'm clicking, I don't know if you can hear it, but as I click on here, the amount of cookies will increase. And so we need to go and find an event. And so again, we can jump over to here into our events, and we can see that we have a few options here, but we want it that when this sprite is clicked. So specifically, when we click on the sprite, we can see that cookie variable go up. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to say that when this sprite is clicked, we need to now increase our variable. So we're going to go back to variable, and we're going to say change cookies by 1. So if I do that, boom, that's perfect. Now, when I restart my program, when I usually you press the green flag to restart or to start a program, nothing's happening with the number of cookies. I've already clicked it 11 times. So what I need to do is I also need to like reset my project. And so another event will be needed. So I'm going to go back to events. When green flag is clicked, I'm going to not change cookies by 1, but I'm going to set cookies to 0. So I'm going to set it to 0, and that will tell my program, okay, I want you to start at 0, and we will begin from there. And so we press on that. There we are. We can see as we move up. Perfect. So we're doing well here. We're doing well. And so that can be it in terms of my project. I can just have those two things going, those two pieces of code. They're concurrent, so they're running at the same time, and that's about it. But a couple other things I know that I've seen out there in terms of other cookie clicker websites. There's that ability to, like, once you get a certain number of cookies, you can sort of cash them in to buy something that will help you to increase the number of cookies that you get. Sort of like, you know, a double clicker or a mega clicker or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so let's do that. So let's see if we can create that sort of idea of having a secondary clicker, or sometimes there's like an auto clicking mechanism that this new, once you get, let's say you get 50 cookies, you can then buy something, and I'm just saying let's pop it up over here, that you're able to click on, and it will then help to auto click. And so it will automatically click for you, and then you can buy more things and increase your number of clicks on your cookies. So we need to then help by having another sprite over here. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to choose another sprite. Now, what can I use? I have no idea. Let's just scroll down here and see what something pops out at me. Could be the chick or a donut, an egg. There's like, I think the easel also has a painting on it. Another option. Ooh, a key. That's a good, yeah, I like the key. So when the key, when you click on the key, it's like it unlocks that special feature. I'm just gonna drag it over here, and I can rotate that, whatever I want to do with it for right now. I'm just gonna leave it right there. Now, I don't want to be able to click on it until I have the amount of cookies that I need to cash in for this key. So there's a few different things that we have to think about when we're doing this. So, and we also are going to have it be an auto clicking mechanism. So first of all, let's deal with the fact that we can't purchase it until we have 50 cookies. So what we need to do first is we need to go into our code for the key, which we're in right now. Again, we're highlighted there. And we need to say that when it's a certain amount, or when the number of cookies are a certain amount, that's when we can start to we can use it. All right. So, or what we can start to, we can click on it to sort of purchase it, and then we are able to get more clicks per cookie or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. So the number one thing, or the first thing, let's figure it out, is we need to sort of get it situated, and we'll get it started. So when we start that green flag, let's maybe start it off so it's not active, and so it's not its full color, and it's a little bit less than that. And so that is in our looks category. So if we go into our looks category, we can have, things can say stuff. We'd have some costumes. We can change the size of things, but down below here, there's different effects that we can change and we can create. And so what we can do is maybe we can set our, not our color effect, but there's one that's really neat down here is our ghost effect. And so we can change it to something really low. Let's try 10 and let's test that out. So set the ghost effect to 10. Well, that didn't really do anything, did it? What if I change it to 50? Oh, so the higher the number, the more faded it is. Okay, that makes more sense, I guess. So maybe if we put it at 100, it would not be there at all. Yeah, okay. So maybe we can put it at like 95 just to show that there's something there. Maybe 90. We can show that there's something there. And then once we get to 50 clicks, then this can be sort of activated. And so to do that, we can then, we need some way of knowing, or some way of like waiting until we have that. And so again, that's in our, oh, sorry, not in our events, in our control. So there's an option here, wait. But we're not going to wait a certain amount of time. We're going to wait until something happens. So I actually grabbed the wrong one here. So we're going to drop that over here and wait until. And so again, we see that this is a hexagon shape, and those hexagon shapes have to do with a sort of a logic statement or comparison. And so we're going to do a comparison. So when the number of cookies is greater than 50. And so here we go and grab our cookies. And then, so now we can do that. And then, so let's then grab our set ghost effect again. So one cool thing that I like about Scratch is you can also duplicate. So I just right clicked on this one and I'm going to go duplicate, put it just below, and then put it there. And then instead of ghost effect to 90, let's put it at 0. And let's test it out. So I test it out. So I just clicked, and I'm going to click. You get to watch me click 50 times. Maybe for testing purposes, I'll lower that 50 down to something a little more reasonable. Hey, and there we are. Okay, so I click 53, and now we've got this activated, or what looks to be activated. And so I can then click on it, and then maybe I'll do an auto clicking in there. That seems reasonable. And so now that I've done that, I've go back over to here. I can have this auto click be activated. And so with an auto click be activated, and let's say it's going to start clicking automatically for me 2 times a second or 3 times a second or whatever you want, we can turn that on. And so that is another variable. And so we're going to go into our variables and create a new variable. And we're going to call this cookies per second. I just got to spell that right. Yeah. So cookies per second. And so with that, we can now sort of turn this cookies per second on to then auto click for us. And so, well, the first thing we need to do is we need to sort of make sure, okay, are we good? Do we know that we have the amount? And so here we're ready. And then we can get going with our with it. but we need to click on it to sort of activate it. So again, we're going to use that events when this sprite is clicked. So I'll just move this over a little bit. So far, we're good in terms of this piece. And then, so when it's clicked, now we can use this. We have to do some comparison again because we have to say that, okay, well, when it's clicked, we're going to change that cookies. So we can activate the change cookies per second. And then let's say, I'm just going to zoom out. Let's just say 15 for now. And so what will happen is we're going to be able to sort of automatically change the number of clicks, or then automatically change the number of cookies per second on there, which is sort of cool. But we need to sort of buy it. And so what we need to do is we're going to change. So right now it's at 90, or it's at 0% ghost because we sort of activated it. But again, part of that buying it is, well, we're then going to reduce the amount of cookies. And so we have to see, well, how much is it going to cost us to do that? So let's say it's going to cost us 50 cookies. I don't know. I'm just making up a number right now. And then once we reduce down, we're going to set our ghosting. We're going to reduce our ghost. And then what we're going to do, no, not change. We're going to set the ghost to 90. Okay, now let's see what happens here. Oh, it's already active. I don't want that. And that I've got negative cookies. Okay, so there's a few things that we need to do. We need to have some sort of checks and balances on this one. So number one is we need to make sure that we have enough cookies that we can actually buy it. And so the number of cookies needs to be above 100 or above 50, sorry, to make sure that we can actually purchase it. So we need to have a way of checking that. And so again, in our control, we have what's called an if statement. So in our if statement here, we need to make sure that we have a certain amount. So we need to have if, we're actually going to be able to use this exact thing. So if cookies is greater than 50, then we can change the cookies to 15, change the number of cookies, so that's like our purchase amount, and then set that ghosting to 90 again. All right. So once we have that, we're able to move forward, and also we need to make sure that we have let's test it out first. Okay. Oh, so another little flaw that I see here is the cookies per second. That should go down to 0. So let's do that as well. So we're going to go to variables, and we're going to set cookies per second to 0. All right, there we go. So let's test it out. Actually, and I also wanted to change this just for testing purposes. We'll put it down to 20. We'll just say that it costs us 20 to purchase it because that makes sense. Or it will just be easier for us. You don't want to hear me clicking All right, so we're past that. Let's click on it. Okay, so we went down 20, so it was at 36 and went down 20 to 16. That's perfect. And then cookies per second is at 15. Well, it's not going up though. So that's one thing we need to fix, that those automatic clicks will start to be activated. And then also we're still clicking at 1 click, and then but we're above it. We're above 20, but we're not able. This is not going again. So we need to somehow make sure that all the time it's sort of like being able to be clicked, and we're able to continue to purchase this, and so we have this automatic being augmented or being increased. So two things that we need to take into account is the um, that automatic clicking that will happen and the ability to purchase it again. So let's do that. So the first thing is that if we have purchased it, we want that ability of the cookies per second to help us go up. And so we can have that code anywhere, and maybe let's put it inside the cookie. And so I'll just zoom out here, quick second. And so what we can do here is inside the when the green flag is clicked, set cookies to 0. And then we can have a another loop that's going, or a loop in here. And then what we can do is have it change cookies by the cookies per second speed. And then so it's per second, so we need to have a wait in there. And so we've got, oh, I missed it again. Control per second. And there we are. So let's test it out. I know I'd mentioned two things, but let's just test out one thing. So we got that green flag. So we got 0, and this is off, and this is good. So we click on it. So we're up to 23, let's say. Click on that. And now this is going up by itself by 15. So that is working. And I can also click and add more. But every 1 second, we're getting 15 cookies. That's a really good deal because we could click on this a bunch more times and yeah. Oh, and is it working? Now I clicked on it, but it's not it's not uh, it doesn't have that ghost effect anymore. And so what we need to do is we need to have it so that when you click on it, it has that ghost effect, but then if the cookies are not at that ghost has that ghost effect, like after you click on it, it sort of goes away, but then it keeps checking like how many cookies do you have right now, and that way we can sort of make that ghost. And I've got a lot of cookies now. Okay, so let's just stop it for now. And I just have to clear my throat. Sorry about this. Okay, so we've got here that we need that ability that when we click on it, or when the cookies are below 20, it does that ghosting, but then and then after you purchase it, it sort of goes down, but then it goes back to 0 or back to normal sort of thing. And so what we need to do here is say that sort of all the time, I guess it would be this case. And so what we need it to do is here it says set to 90. So when we click it, we want it to sort of like register that it got clicked, but then we want it to go back to normal. And so what if we do this? If we go wait 1 second, and then we set the ghosting effect back to 0. Let's see what happens. Let's see if that makes sense. So if I press stop, do that. Yeah, okay. I'm just wondering why I had to press when I press this, it goes, oh, it's because when you stop running the program, it stops running all the code, and part of the code is that ghosting effect. Okay, so when I press the green flag, it automatically gets ghosted. Okay, sorry, I was having a little bit of a brain freeze there. Okay, so I click on this, click, 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 click until let's get to 20. So we see that, and I click on it, it goes ghosting, but now it's because it's running at 15, it like it's not going to be that apparent. Maybe let's go to key, and then instead of being 15, let's put it down to 2 to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on. And then I think we're good. Hey, this isn't. There we go. Okay. So we go up to 20, and then we do that. That's going to 2. Ah, so this needs to go back, like, because we can't purchase it until this is above 20. Okay, so I think there's something wrong in my code here. So if cookies is greater than 20, then do that. Oh, but if it's less than 20, if the cookies is less than 20, then we want to make sure that you can't purchase it. So we need to have some sort of like little if statement right here. And so the the cool thing is there's like a lot of different ways that you can do this. And this is one option that we can put in there. And so as I'm talking, I'm going to code this in here, and I'll sort of explain it in a second. So what this is saying that if so we sort of turn it on, the cookies per second is going to go to 0. We're going to ghost it to 90, and then wait until it's above 20, and then set it to 0. But if the number of cookies is less than 20, so actually we're going to sort of flip this one around, or we should, for better mathematical representation, we should use this one. So if cookies is less than 20, then we should set the ghost value to that. And then it seems like it will always be, because after you purchase it, oh yeah, no, it should, I know what I need to do. I think I made a little bit of a flaw here. So I'm going to go, instead of using this if, I'm going to use something called an if-else statement. And so what we're going to do is if the number of cookies is less than 20, we're going to say 90. And if it's greater than, which is sort of that else piece, we're going to say 0. And we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to put this right here. Okay. We should be good. So I press that. Okay, goes to 0, and is off. I'm going to click, 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 click. So we're good. So I stop. That's 2. Perfect. It's off until we get to above 20. I do it again. Now it goes to 4. So now this should be adding 4 every time. 20. Perfect. Now it's going to be going by 6. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So that is pretty well what I wanted to show you. I think those were the main things that I wanted to show you. So you've got your number of cookies. You've got that sort of auto-clicking possibility. And you can continue to click while it's running. I guess I should Should have shown you that. So I can click, 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 but then once you purchase this auto clicker, you can still click, but the auto clicker will also be happening at the same time. And that's pretty well it. So I didn't put any code on Scratch here, but again, you can, way to go. You hit 10,000 cookies or whatever. It's completely up to you. But this is pretty well it in terms of the code. So there's very simple code on the cookie itself. And then if I go to the key, there's sort of two blocks of code that we used here. I'm just going to zoom out so we can have a better look at it for everyone. So we've got this one here, and then I lost the other one. Oh, here it is. Okay. And this one here. So again, the two blocks of code. This one is to sort of see if it's active or not, or to create that appearance if it's active or not. So you have to have at least 20 cookies to purchase the key. And once you purchase the key, or once it's activated, so once it has that ghost effect of 0, then you'll sort of see it and you'll click on it, or you can click on it. Now, can you actually, now that I think about it, can you click on it? No, you can't. Oops. Yeah, you have to have at least, you have to have at least 20 keys. Sorry, 20 cookies. Yeah. So I can't click on it until I've got another 20. And that will, yeah. That's what, yeah, no, I was getting ahead of myself. Anyway, so this one is about like purchasing your cookie, and it will change your cookies per second, that auto clicking, by 2, and then it will change your amount of cookies because you had to purchase them by 20, and then set that ghost effect to 90. And so it sort of goes to that shadow. Now, I guess this one isn't really needed because you also have this one running at the same time. So if the number of cookies is less than 20, then set the ghost effect to 90. If not, then set it to 0, which is, I can see it, it's apparent. So that's pretty well it that I wanted to show you. I would challenge you to create a secondary key, and maybe it can have different, so a different purchasing amount. So instead of 20, it's 100, but you get 15 clicks per second, that sort of thing. So again, these numbers are up to you, completely up to you. And you'll see here, so we've got 20, 20, and 20, and negative 20. So again, the 20 is you have to have this amount to purchase it. And this 20 here is the amount that it goes down. So that's how much it costs. So you would think that this and this would be the same. And this number here, 2, is the amount of the speed of the cookies that you get per second. So again, that is completely up to you on how you do that. And I would invite you to create, you can have 3 or 4, you have a mega clicker and a ultra clicker, those sort of things. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I'm excited to share these with you. And I'm going to have a link in the description below for this and another version that I created, both pretty well the same. The other version has got two objects in there, so just to give you an idea again on how to do that. And please share yours in the comments below. Thanks very much. Bye for now, and happy coding.